In the heart of the United States, nestled in a quiet but struggling town called Briar Hollow, there existed a biker gang unlike any other, the Iron Revenants. Known for their brutal control over the town's underground operations, the Revenants ruled with an iron fist. Drugs, smuggling, and intimidation ran rampant under their leadership, and their presence had turned a once peaceful town into a place of fear. But all that was about to change. Behind the shadows of Briar Hollow, an elite unit of military operatives known as Steel Force had been quietly monitoring the gang for months. Comprised of soldiers who had served in the most covert operations, this specialized team was not just about force. They were strategists, analysts, and warriors who believed that no threat could go unchecked, especially when innocent lives were at stake. Their leader, Captain Isaac Steele Tanner, was a man whose reputation echoed through the military world. With years of experience dealing with high-stakes threats, Tanner and his team were the town's last hope. With no backup from local authorities who were either too afraid or too corrupted to intervene, the military stepped in. The operation was codenamed Steel Thunder. Tanner knew that going in guns blazing would only escalate the chaos. The Revenants were too well armed and too connected. Instead, he devised a plan to dismantle the gang from the inside. Over the course of weeks, the Steel Force team infiltrated the gang's operations, using their military training in surveillance, misdirection, and subterfuge. They planted moles, intercepted communications, and gathered intel to find the gang's weak points. The turning point came when one of the gang members, a disgraced former soldier named Marcus Trigger Steelheart, began questioning the gang's leadership. Through a careful series of clandestine meetings, Tanner's team built a rapport with Trigger, slowly turning him into an informant. The plan was set into motion. Tanner's team, disguised as local contractors, set up an ambush for the Revenants during their biggest illegal trade deal of the year, a deal that would bring millions of dollars worth of contraband into town. On the night of the operation, the town of Briar Hollow buzzed with tension. The Revenants, expecting an easy transaction, were caught off guard when Tanner's team took control of the town's communication networks and sabotaged the gang's convoy. The bikers were forced into a deadly game of cat and mouse as Steel Force coordinated airstrikes, strategic blockades, and even tricked the gang into fighting amongst themselves by using their own fears and weaknesses against them. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Tanner came face to face with the gang's ruthless leader, Victor Reaper Draven. With years of criminal dominance under his belt, Draven wasn't easily intimidated. The two men stood in the middle of the burning town square, exchanging words as the echoes of gunfire rang in the background. "I know you," Draven sneered. "You're nothing but a shadow of war." A fading relic. Tanner's response was cold and calculated. "I'm a reminder that war doesn't fade, it adapts with a quick motion." Tanner took Draven down with a move only a soldier could master. And with that, the gang's stronghold crumbled. The Revenants were no more. As dawn broke over Briar Hollow, the soldiers of Steel Force disappeared as quietly as they had arrived, leaving behind a town that had been forever changed. The streets were free again, but the shadow of the Iron Revenants would linger only as a memory, while the legend of the soldiers who took them down would live on in whispers across the town for generations. And in the end, Captain Tanner knew that sometimes the hardest battles were fought not with weapons, but with strategy, courage, and the will to protect the innocent at all costs.